Thank you, Alan. Makofi kwake tafadhali.
Hamjambo nyote. I'll go straight into the eulogy. The late Colonel retired James Nguyo Gitahi was born in 1959 in Trans Nzoia province. He was the firstborn child of the late Joseph Gitahi Nguyo and the late Magdalene Wangeshi Gitahi of Kahuho or Minia Farm. The late Colonel Gitahi was brother to Lois Gatungo from Nyeri, Francis Kihumba Kitale, the late John Ndungu, Veronica Wanjiku from Canada, Albert Masharia Mabe, I hope I got it right, from Kitale, and Peter Gitahi in the US. He was brother-in-law to Mwangi Gatungo, Nancy Kihumba, Joyce Ndungu, and Beatrice Nyuri Masharia. Uncle to Wango, Mwangi, Rose, the late Gitahi, Susan, the late Chalo, Irene, Lydia, Kevin, Alan, Viola, Mitchell, Wallace, Nyuri, Marianne, and Wanjiro. Education and employment. Colonel Gitahi started his education journey at St. Columbian's Primary School in Kitale in 1966 and did his CPE exam in 1972. He then proceeded to Mother of Apostles Seminary in Eldoret. He sat for his Form 4 exam in 1976 and passed well. He was then admitted to Maranda High School in 1977 and completed his 6th form in 1978, where he passed with flying colors and qualified for university. He reminded us of this very often. The late Colonel Gitahi worked briefly with the Ministry of Labor in 1979 before joining the Kenya Air Force. Church life. He was baptized at Mary Immaculate Catholic Church in Kitale and got his confirmation in the church. He was also an altar boy at the same church. Family life. James Nguyo Gitahi's journey of love and family began in 1983 when he met the love of his life, Betty Batuli. Their bond was blessed with the arrival of their first child, Wangeshi, in June 1984. Committed to building a life together, James James and Betty formalized a union in August 1987. The following year, they welcomed their second child, Joseph, in August 1988. James's nurturing spirit extended beyond his immediate family. He embraced the role of a foster father to Marianne Duku and became a father figure to Samido Muchoki, offering guidance and support with a generous heart. His legacy of love and care continued through his grandchildren, Kai Iha, the late Nguyo Iha, Nailante Iha, Kayla Wamboi, Eli Kabaka, Charlene, Mike, and Nemo. Each grandchild was cherished and was a cherished blessing, bringing joy. and purpose to his life.
Good afternoon. I'll help him. Where were you? Military. Yeah. The late Colonel James Nguyo Gitahi had a sterling military career. He was enlisted in the Kenya Air Force on the 15th May of 1979 and commissioned as an officer on the 2nd of July 1981 in the rank of lieutenant. He was subsequently promoted through the rank subsequently promoted through the military's officers' ranks of lieutenant, captain, major, and lieutenant colonel, and finally as a colonel on the 1st of December in the year 2007. During his military career, the late Colonel retired James Gitahi held various appointments at Moi Air Base, the Kenya Air Force Headquarters, Defense Headquarters, and as a wing commander of the VIP squadron at Moi Air Base and Moi Air Base. He was also a defense attaché in Cairo, Egypt. In his flying career in the Air Force, he flew almost all fixed-wing aircrafts and trainers, a talent, dedication, and passion for flying achieved by few. The late Colonel retired, attended various national and international military courses that included Qualified Flying Instructors course at Royal Air Force in the UK, Grade 2 Staff course in the UK, National Defense course at the NDC War College in Karen, among others. He was also a trained trainer of trainers, and he mentored many both in aviation industry as well as in life. The late Colonel was an aviator par excellence, who had a very strong passion for flying and aviation matters. He is accredited with training many pilots, both the ab initio level and operational conversions. He was also involved in transportation of VVIPs and VIPs on many occasions, both locally and internationally. He had the privilege of flying both the late President Moi and the late President Kibaki. The late Colonel eventually retired from military on the 19th of May 2010, and due to his passion for flying, he continued flying in the civil aviation. He worked with Bluebird Aviation and the 99 Flying School, where he was an instructor until his demise. I had established a retirement home that Jay had established a retirement home that he deeply cherished, envisioning it as a warm, welcoming place where he could enjoy meaningful moments with family and friends. It was from this home that he rushed out for some quick errands on the fateful afternoon of Thursday, the 5th of March, hoping to be back to the house before his flying lesson the following morning. Unfortunately, Jay was involved in a fatal road accident at Chumvi area along Mombasa Road. James lived a full life not defined by the years he spent, but by the impact he made. He gave freely, loved deeply, and left a mark on every person who had the privilege of knowing him. As we reflect on the life of James, may his humility, generosity, resilience, and remarkable gift continue to inspire and uplift us all. His sudden passing on the 5th of March, 2025 has left a void that cannot be filled, but his legacy will live on in the stories we tell, in the memories we cherish, and in the lives we touched. Fare thee well, my loved Jay, beloved dad, treasured Ruka, brother, uncle, friend, and an honored colleague. In God's hands you rest, in our hearts you remain forever. Fly with the angels, Colonel Retired James Nguyo Gitahi.
Thank you. And thank you guys for standing with him. At this moment, I'd like to call upon the brothers and sisters from Kitale. Brothers and sisters from Kitale, tafadhali karibieni. As they come, I'd also like to request all the brothers and sisters from Nyeri to also get ready. Karibuni sana. I'd also like to recognize all the generals in here. I know somebody will be mentioning the names shortly, but from Kitale, Karibuni.
Reading the tribute. Good afternoon. My name is Francis Kihumba, and I'm going to read a tribute from the brothers. We are assembled here today in the memory of our dear brother, James, so that together we may share both our joy in the gift that his life was to us and the pain that his passing on has brought to bear on our family. Dear brother, your untimely death is a big blow to us all. We are yet to come to terms with the brutal fact that you are gone at a time that we were looking forward to your continued guidance in our family. James was the firstborn in our family of 7 and was an inspiration to the rest of us. He was very close to his family and led us with respect and love. As we bid farewell to him, let us carry forward the love and laughter he brought into our lives. He taught us the values of hard work and integrity. He was a stickler for time, had a knack for details, and was very focused and organized. He had a deep passion for his career. We will endeavor to cherish those attributes as they were very close to his heart. Though you may no longer be with us in the body, your spirit will forever echo in our hearts, reminding us to cherish each moment and hold tight to the bonds of family. Rest in perfect peace, our big brother, Kihumba, Macharia, and Peter. Thank you.
This is a sister's tribute to our loving brother. Today, we gather here to celebrate the life of our dear brother, whose untimely passing has left a void in our lives. As the firstborn, he set the bar high by inspiring us to work hard, demonstrating a passion for what is right, and showing unwavering commitment to family. His heart was pure, his spirit generous, and his love unconditional. He had a unique ability to connect with each of us, offering guidance, support, and encouragement whenever we needed it. His presence made us feel seen and valued. As we say goodbye, we take comfort in knowing that his legacy will continue to shape us. May his memory inspire us to live with purpose, kindness, and compassion. Rest in peace, dear brother. May your journey home be peaceful. May your memory be a blessing to us all, from your beloved sister, Lois Gatung and Veronica Wanjiku. Allow me just to add a small piece on a personal level. My brother, beloved brother Jay, was more than just a sibling. He was the kind of brother everyone wishes for. Every time we were together, whether I visit him or we met somewhere, our conversation flow effortlessly, lasting long into the night. The laughter we shared still echoes in my heart. I've lost I've lost not only a dear brother, but also my guiding star, closest friend, pride, my pride, confident, and much more. The pain of his loss is overwhelming, and I wonder whether healing will ever come. Only God in heaven knows. Thank you, dear brother, for being such an extraordinary, such an extraordinary person in my life. Rest in peace. Thank you.
Thank you. Wapigeni makofi tena tafadhali. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. And from Nyeri, brothers and sisters, even as you prepare to come over, I would like our chairman, PK, to shortly just come and recognize the generals we have in the house today. Kano worked with great gentlemen to make sure that this country was well taken care of, both in the air, on the ground, and in the water. And those gentlemen are here this afternoon. So, Karibu, PK.
Thank you. Good evening, church. My name is Karungo Njoroge, Kano retired. I've been chairing the committee to make sure we have befitting farewell to my brother Jay. Because of time, because the church have got its own things happening after this, I would like to recognize the generals on board, starting with General Awero. And General Awero, you come and just talk for the whole of us so that we are free with the church. Please, welcome, sir.
The family of late Nguyo Gitahi, waheshimiwa mlioko, the clergy, retired officers, serving officers, I've been given this opportunity to talk on behalf of those who worked with late Jay, as we used to call him. I think the eulogy has been read. And let me just recognize the presence of the generals who are here. I think I was seated next to two retired Air Force commanders. Please be upstanding. The generals who are here, please be upstanding. Thank you very much. You can be seated. The other officers who are retired, please be upstanding. Thank you. Please be seated. Now that we are constrained on time, I'll be very brief. And mine is actually to confirm what has been read here, that Gitahi joined us in 1979. He went to a place called Pakistan, Muslim country, where he was trained as a pilot. When he came back to Kenya, he actually joined me in Air Support Squadron. So I inducted him into flying the Donia, which was in Air Support Squadron. We did quite a bit, and as he has marched on, we got our different promotions and different trainings. And time came for me to go to Pakistan where he was. So I had to seek his guidance because he was experienced in those sides of Pakistan. How do you behave in Pakistan, a Muslim country? And he guided me accordingly because I went to Pakistan in 1981. He guided me very well and I was ready to live among the Muslims. After inducting him in the Donias, little did I know that he was also going to induct me into the Dash 8 aircraft. And he did exactly that. Jay was a very outgoing fellow, the way we knew him. He could not withhold any information he knew so long as it was to improve you. And he readily gave it. And no wonder he became an instructor pilot. And I think he really enjoyed that because even on his retirement from active flying, he went back to 99 school where he was still teaching. Now, in a language called Latin, it says, "Modo muega datura agokodi." That is Latin, eh? And I believe Jay has been called by his maker to stay with him. Sisi ambao tumebaki, tujue sisi tutaitwa namna gani. What type of legacy shall we leave behind? With those very many remarks, Mama Wangeshi, your family, poleni sana. Ni mapenzi ya Mungu kuita Jay mahali yako. God bless you and be blessed always.
Thank you, General. Makofi mzuri kwa Generali tafadhali. And for those of us who understand Latin, tokawane gadho nyigimuno, neokorokera diriana hivyo. I'd also like to go to Wilson. The whole of Wilson, we have Bluebird, we have 99, we have School of Flying. Do you have representatives from there? Wilson? Thank you, gentlemen. Makofi, as they come. Karibuni sana. As they come, ngetaka kuuliza, because I'll go to Bunge next. I had a request that Bunge mukija, mtusalimie tu na mtoe rambirambi zenyu. Sio mimi nilisema. I got it from the father. Asanteni sana.
Good afternoon, everyone. To the family of late Colonel James Gitahi, the senior military generals, those who are serving and retired, and the whole church. My name is Major Retired Ron Osawe. I stand here today to read a tribute from Bluebird Aviation, where Colonel Gitahi served his last commercial flight. With me here are colleagues from Bluebird. This is the guy who took over from Colonel Gitahi. Captain Kaberia is our chief pilot. Captain Kaguta, Captain Mohammed, and Captain Said Balala. I'll go the tribute before I say my last because I have a special relationship with this family. I'll let you know that at the end of this tribute. Colonel JG, as was fondly known by his peers, embarked on his journey with Bluebird Aviation Limited on December 1st, 2011. From the very beginning, he demonstrated extraordinary dedication and skill, taking on the roles of training captain and designated check pilot for a significant portion of the company's fleet. His remarkable service culminated in his appointment as chief pilot on May 24, 2018, a title he held until his retirement on May 31st, 2023, after attaining his mandatory retirement age of 65 years. In recognition of his thoughtful leadership and the profound impact he had on his colleagues and the organization, the management offered Kanojeji an opportunity to fly one last time with his family on May 19, 2023. This poignant gesture served as a testament to Bluebird's deep appreciation for his exceptional contributions. The flight was a moment of celebration and gratitude, capturing the attention of many media outlets as they honored his legacy. As we gather to remember Kanojeji, we reflect on not just the professional milestones he achieved, but also the warmth and wisdom he shared with all of us during his entire flying career, spanning over 45 years. A career he began in the Kenya Air Force, as has been said by General Waweru. His spirit will forever remain in our hearts and in the skies he so passionately navigated. Forever with us, Bluebird Aviation family. That is the end of our tribute from Bluebird. Now, on a personal level, I'll take about 1 minute to thank the family of Nguyo Gitahi. We have Mwalimu Francis Kiumba Gitahi, who for 4 years, he mentored me in high school. And then he later handed me over to Nguyo Gitahi. He taught me physics and maths, the core subjects that put me in aviation. Mwalimu Gitahi is with her dear wife here, Madam Akena. So you can see why I really had to take this 1 minute. So 3 family members, Nguyo Gitahi, Mwalimu Kihumba, and Madam Akena, mentored me. I really thank the family of Gitahi and poleni sana on my own behalf. On behalf of my family, nasema pole sana, Mungu awafariji. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now, our neighbors, 99s, where Colonel Gitahi worked, where he was doing his training, were unable to join us here today. So I'll read a tribute on their behalf. A tribute to Colonel James Gitahi from the members of 99's Flying School. Today, we, the members of the 99's Flying School, come together to honor and celebrate the extraordinary life of Colonel James Gitahi, a man whose passion for flying knows no bounds and whose legacy will forever remain etched in the skies. Colonel Gitahi was not just a pilot, he was a visionary, a mentor, a guiding light for countless aviators. His love for flying, his infectious and his dedication to the craft inspired all who had the privilege of knowing him. As a flying instructor, he selflessly shared his knowledge, patience, and expertise, shaping the careers of many pilots who now carry forward his teachings. The 99's Flying School held a special place in his heart. It was here that his civil aviation journey began, and it was here among the clouds and camaraderie that his journey gracefully concluded. His connection to the 99's was more than just professional. It was a testament to his unwavering commitment to aviation and the community he cherished. We are immensely proud to have been associated with Colonel Gitahi. His legacy lives on, not only in the trails he left in the skies, but also in the lives he touched and the dreams he helped take flight. Though he has passed or departed this earth, his spirit will forever soar among the clouds he loved so dearly. And that's the tribute from 99's. Thank you. And just on behalf of Bluebird, we do have a team that came by. I'd like to ask them to stand up. They were colleagues for the last, I think, about 11 years while at Bluebird. So we have a team that came by. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Makofi tena kwao. Asante sana. Really do appreciate. At this juncture, I'd like to call upon Honorable Senator Kajwang to just come and say a word and also introduce his colleagues. Senator Kajwang works with the Honorable Senator Betty Montet Gitahi. So, karibu sana mheshimiwa.
To the church, we thank you for granting us this opportunity to come and join our colleague, Senator Betty Montet, as she does the final prayer for her sweetheart, her husband, and to join the family as they do final prayer to a father, to a brother, to a grandfather, to a mentor. I stand here with my colleagues from Parliament, both the Senate and the National Assembly. We've come to stand with our sister, our colleague. I bring the condolences of the entire House, the condolences of the Speaker of the Senate, Senator Amason Kingi. Honorable Montet, Speaker Kingi could not join us today because he was chairing a session to process the budget policy statement today. I also bring the condolences of your friend, Speaker Moses Wetangula of the National Assembly. We bear greetings, prayers, and condolences of the entire House. We love Senator Montet. Many of us probably did not meet the husband, but in her, we saw what it means for a woman to be loved. Senator Montet is happy, she's jovial, she's got a clean heart, she's a good sport, and a woman can only be those attributes if she's loved at home. She is truly a reflection of the husband and of what I heard the sisters say, that his heart was pure, his love was unconditional. Today is a day when I'm not very sure the advice the church has given, and I'm not sure the advice the generals have given, but politicians tend to have some very unconventional advice. We'll still draw from the Bible, and we'll pray that God will strengthen you, that God will wipe your tears, and to assure you that we love you, we'll stand with you, we'll provide a shoulder for you to lean on. We have seen that you are not short of friends. The military senior officers are here. I'm not very sure whether they're allowed to cry. I'm not very sure whether the generals are allowed to shed a tear. Your family is here. I am very sure they have shed genuine tears. The politicians are here. We'll be careful not to shed crocodile tears. But we love you, Senator. And I want to allow my colleagues just to introduce themselves. We have been guided on the content of our speeches. But even before our colleagues take to the stage, Peter Kenneth is a former member of Parliament. I'm not sure whether he's a retired politician. Politicians never retire. So we also take note that PK is here. Let me allow the senators to introduce themselves.
God is good, and all the time. My name is Senator Veronica Maina, nominated senator from Murang'a County, nominated to Senate by the UDA and immediate former Secretary General of the UDA. Senator Betty, you've been a dear friend and sister to me, and we are praying for you, Psalms 23, that even though you together with your family walk through the valley of the shadow of death, you shall fear no evil, for God is with you, and his rod and his staff will comfort you. We pray for comfort. May Colonel retired James Gitahi rest in eternal peace. Thank you.
Good evening, church. My name is Jamatia Sergon, Member of Parliament, Baringo County. As a woman rep Baringo, I want to send my condolences from Baringo and to you, Mom. You're a good person. And I want to pray that God give you strength during this very difficult time. Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Senator Agnes Kavindo Mudhama, the senator from Machakos County, Betty and the family. May God strengthen you. I've seen the tears since the departure of your loved one. And I want to tell you, Revelation 21:4, God will wipe away all our tears. Death is the last thing that God will do with, and we'll be rejoicing. So take heart, we are with you. Thank you very much. God bless us.
Good evening, church. My name is Godfrey Osotsi. I am the senator of Vihiga County, and I'm also representing our party, the Orange Democratic Movement, as the deputy party leader. We are all saying pole to Senator Betty, whom you know is a member of our party, and I bring condolences from the entire leadership of the party and the membership, including our leader, Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga, to the family for losing your lovely husband. I remember a few months back, we were all invited to go and celebrate the retirement of Mzee for having a successful career in piloting without any accident. And he's so sad that he did not get any accident in the air, but he got the accident on land. So we are very, very sympathetic to the family, and we encourage you, even at this difficult time, to gain strength and continue respecting the word of God. Asanteni sana.
God is good. Father, I want to recognize you. I'm sorry, as a Catholic, I came late. Betty is one of the senators in the House that we have extreme amounts of respect. We're proud of you, and pole sana for what has happened to you. And in Kisii, we say, you see the parents not through the husband or the wife, but the children that they have left behind. And I can see you have a good family. Keep it up. When I came up here, Senator Kajua started talking to me and said, please don't talk about Adani and don't talk about the stealing. I said, I will not. Senator, I will not talk about the stealing. And they are stealing public land. I will not talk about it. The other day, I will, in fact, leave it there. And they stole 104 billion. And they stole 1.3 trillion in 1 year. I am sorry. The person who trained me to say what I say the way I say, he's there. Look at that man in gray hair. Thank you so much for making me who I became. I used to watch and learn everything you said. And all of you, thank you for the brilliant and excellent thing you've done for the country. I hope, Chair, that I looked at Gitahi's name. I didn't know that he's never been given a presidential medal. I think we can do it posthumously. A person who's flown a person who has flown 2 presidents is an incredible person. God bless you all.
Thank you, honorable senators. And Senator Nyonka is like a rugby ball. You never know which direction is going to bounce. Allow me to recognize also in the congregation, Senator Mbogwa, nominated senator. He comes from Nyandarua, Karibu. And we also have staff from the Senate. I've seen Boniface, I've seen Zach, all the staff from the Senate who have come to condole with our sister. You're welcome. The there are sergeant at arms outside who are also helping to establish order. Thank you, Major. He's also in the military, but now he's Deputy Sergeant at Arms. Yes, and also my Mheshimiwa, pole sana Mheshimiwa. And if there's any other former elected politician, not aspiring, because there are a lot of aspirants sometimes. Zipapa is in the house. Mzee ambaye tunamheshimu sana. I hope we've not left out. And Mheshimiwa Mary, Mama wa Taifa, asante sana Mama. On that, we'll hand over the program to the Master of Ceremony. Thank you very much.
Makofi kwa tafadhali. Thank you so much. Really do appreciate. And I'd also want to yes, on behalf of the family from Nyeri, karibu sana.
Evening, Church. My sister, my wife. I'm Nguyo Gitahi, and I'm here to speak on behalf of Nyeri and the uncles and cousins. They have not been able to manage to come on time, but I will speak on their behalf. For us, Nguyo Kano is a brother, is a blood, and more so, he makes us look into whom we expected to do so much with. And as we were young, he was one of our main role models. I remember when we were very young people, the kind of vision that he had and the thoughts and the kind of ideas that he kept on talking about, they make us look into him and unto him like a big brother. And on behalf of the brothers and sisters, we want to tell you we are with you. We'll hold your hand wherever you need us. The uncles love you. They believe you will make it because the Lord is with you and will guide you. I'm sorry I got a little late, but we will do the rest tomorrow. Thank you. God bless you all.
Thank you so much. At this juncture, I'd like to call upon Mheshimiwa Peter Kenneth just to come and say a word. And I'm sure we'll also hear from Mama Winnie, who will also come and say hi to us. Makofi ya Mheshimiwa PK.
The family of the late Nguyo Gitahi, especially Mama Betty and her children, the clergy, friends. I've known Kano in one separate way, which I'll say shortly, but I've also known Kano through Betty in different ways, although they are married and they were a couple. Because one, Betty was very close and remains very close to the Macharias. The Macharias are my neighbors who I found when I built on the upper side of Gatanga. And there was never any function that would take place and I wouldn't see Betty there. And that friendship has continued. I can see it displayed it here today. But before I moved to that side, I was on the lower side of Gatanga, where one of Kano's best friends, and on the program, is listed as a partner in crime. Kano Tonio comes from. And, you know, we grew up knowing that Colonel Tonio could fly very low and drop an envelope with money to his mother. So we all associated with Colonel Tonio as we grew up to where we are, and we met his friends, some who have spoken here before me. But when Colonel Tonio was doing his African traditional rites, and he came with his partners in crime, and one of them was this gentleman, they had to face me on the other side because Tonio's wife is like my sister. So we used to play this hide and seek whenever they came home, as late as about 2 years ago. So it's a gentleman I've known very well, and I've known Betty from both sides. A lot has been said about his flying. I'm an investor in that sector, and he had a very good reputation. Very good reputation. When I came out of politics, I wanted to be a pilot. And I went to a flying school. And I was given 2 names. One was Major Samoei, and the other one was Nguyo Gitahi. And I was told, but we couldn't get Betty's husband. So we got Samoei. They are making it look very easy to fly. But I can tell you, when I did my first solo, I really wanted to be on the ground level. And so it's something for these gentlemen which they've done very well. I was somewhere yesterday, similar to this, and there was a young lady pastor, and she kept on heaping a word or a phrase. Maybe this gentleman, our clergy, one day will tell us. She kept on saying death is a start of not dying because of the expected life where we should go. So I believe that Nguyo will not die again. He's where he will never die. What is left from us is to make improvements on our history, what will be said here. I think what he reminds us today is how to improve our history in this booklet. So kama imeenda mrama kidogo, tutengeneze ili mambo iwe sawa, manake mengi mema yake imesemwa. And I can bear witness, the times we socialized, the times I met him, he was a happy man. He was a nice man. Asanteni.
Thank you, do appreciate. Karibu sana, makofi kwa Mama Winnie. Thank you, makofi tena kwake.
The clergy and the all pilots and the army who are here, and the all members who are here, the politicians, say hi to me with God is good, and all the time is the nation. Thank you very much. I'm here to say Paul to Betty and the family. I know even if we stay with Betty, whatever she is feeling, nobody else can feel. It's just only the children. I just want to say, I know Gitahi for a long time when he was a pilot. Because I remember one day I was in Mombasa and I was coming back to Nairobi. And he was somewhere and he told me, I want to take you back to Nairobi because you are going to Nairobi and you are going to Udhaya. I asked him now, why are you taking me there? He told me because that is the way. What I say about him, he is honest, a hard worker person who cannot cheat you, who loves his family, who loves the country. And I know where he is now. We are seeing just on the body. He went with God, who is our creator. All of us, one day we are going to go. But how are you going to go? You must know God is who created us. When we are born, one day he will come to take us home. And home is where Gitahi is now. We cannot ask any question to God, but I know you have faith, you love Lord, and I know one thing, when you trust in God, nothing is going to be hard with you. We can say we are going to be with you. Let me tell you, you are going to cheat yourself, because we cannot get time to be with you. There is one person. Let that person be your husband, and that is God. Whatever you want, don't tell me I'm going to say, Betty told me this. There's one person who cannot say anything, and he is your friend and your family. If you want anything, please go a small house, tell your creator what you want, and he is going to give you. The children, you are taught to work, to love your mother, because today, Betty have got two hearts, a father and a mother. It's not easy. But I know you have got a good children. They are going to obey you. And you know, whatever Gitahi wanting, peace, let the children give you peace. I know there's a best friend who make me to know Betty, Mrs. Gadon Masharia. She is here. We have been with her somewhere else for a function like this. And I know Betty. I know Gadon for a long time. She will never leave her friend. Her and her friend, SK Masharia. They can do anything for a friend to make sure the friend is not going to suffer. Very few friends, like those two couples, they make me to know Betty. We work together. Whatever faction we are going, we are together. Let me tell you, anybody who is in this house, remember one thing, have a friend who can die for you. If you call that person as a friend during the night, when you have got a problem, he is there for you. Betty, we are here for you. We love you. We appreciate you and your children. May God bless you with your family and a large family. Let us, all Kenyans, kneel down, fathers, and pray for our country. Our country needs a lot of prayers because we want peace. We want our children to be in school, and everything we need. We want God to help us. A human can't, but God can do it. May God bless you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. Really do appreciate. And as we move on, I'd like to now call upon our MD, Sashiro Aroro, to come and just recognize the team and also our vice chair. Makofi kwake.
Thank you very much, Mike Jenga. My name is Washira Waruru, and I'm the Managing Director of Royal Media. The reason I'm here is because Royal Media and the Gitahi family have a very strong relationship. And this has been mentioned by Peter Kenneth and Mama Winnie. The background is that the Gitahis and the Masharias have a very strong friendship that runs for very many years. And when the Masharias were building Royal Media, Betty was there always, supporting in many various ways. Those of you who know Betty know she's an astute business lady, and Royal Media benefited immensely from her business acumen. The relationship went beyond SK and Gathoni Macharia. Betty became one of us. We consider her to be a member of the Royal Media family. It sounds even better now that she is a senator. Now, along the way, we have always supported each other. We, the directors and staff of Royal Media, attend all their functions. Last year, we were very present at Junior's wedding. And when I lost my brother recently, Senator Betty traveled all the way to Nyeri to support us. That's just how close and strong our bond is. In the process, we got to interact a lot with Nguyo Gitahi, and he was a true officer and a true gentleman. On Monday, we met for prayers at the house, and Major General Jeff Okanga narrated to us the very stringent criteria required for one to be appointed a presidential pilot. Very stringent. And Nguyo Gitahi piloted not one, but 2 presidents. We don't need any further evidence or proof that this gentleman was an exceptional pilot and a man of very high integrity. We don't need any other proof. When the late President Moi passed on, Citizen TV reached out to people who had interacted closely with the late president, and we had an interview with Nguyo Gitahi, a very, very interesting conversation about his experiences as President Moi's pilot. And more recently, when he retired from flying, Citizen TV was there. As you heard earlier, he flew his whole family on his last flight, and our reporters were there with him on his final flight. And it was a wonderful feature because when he landed his final flight, he received a very warm and very colorful send-off from his aviation colleagues at Wilson. So we as Royal Media are very proud to have recorded Nguyo Gitahi's life for posterity, because all this content is sitting on our digital platforms. So it's something we're very proud of, and we're very proud to have been associated with him. I'm going to ask the people from Royal Media here to stand. Royal Media, you can see our directors, the others behind there. Thank you very much. And thank you very much. So we'd like to Senator Betty, deepest condolences from the Royal Media family, and may Nguyo Gitahi's soul rest in peace. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Really do appreciate. In the interest of time, I know Father has given me signals that we need to be wrapping up. We'll go straight to the tributes. And for the tributes family, I'd like to call upon Junior and Kate who will kick us off with this round of tributes. Makofi for them.
Hello, everybody. Good evening. Before I start, I'd like to say the love you've shown my mom and the support you've given her is awesome. Thank you. Thank every single one of you for coming here today. And words cannot express that you've been there for my mom. So it's really very touching, and we are grateful. All right. Okay, I'll try not to cry. The Colonel, as most of you know him, was truly a kind-hearted man. He was truly a kind-hearted man. He was so cheerful and always in a jovial mood, like it's been said before. He was also a lifelong workaholic by choice, to those who knew him well. He achieved so many great things in his lifetime, and yet still managed to remain a humble person to the core. His ever empathetic nature meant that he could relate to anyone and everyone from all walks of life, because he always looked for the good in every person, and he more often than not usually found it. I have seen him really nurture and honor the many friendships that he had with a very generous and giving soul. I know this from the numerous messages and calls I have been receiving during these past few days, all of which were mainly to tell me about his kindness and the kind acts that he had done for them at some point in their lives, be it in their careers or just in helping them navigate various challenges when one might have been facing. Many people here with us will say that Colonel was a mentor to them or even a father figure in their lives. This is mainly because he was always willing to listen to people, and he consoled them just as any good friend would. This speaks volumes about the kind of man he was. He was a perfectionist and a person of high integrity. Now let me tell you about my father. He has always been a very strict disciplinarian in all aspects of his life and everything that he did. At times, we tested his patience. At least I know I did. But he always responded with a great gift of unconditional love and forgiveness towards us, his children. Dad always led us by example, and through his actions, he ingrained into us such an organized culture in all of our lives. So much so that my mom, sisters, and I would freely refer to him as Mr. Organizer. After 38 years of marriage, my father also taught us all on how to be a great husband. I know he adored my mother. They were married for all those years, and not even once did I hear him raise his voice towards her whenever we were around. He was dedicated to her totally, and he also always fully supported whatever my mom's projects were at the time. This mostly entailed him working hard every day, then giving my mom all the money. Clearly, this method seems to work. It is only through living with and observing this man right here that I can confidently say I have acquired several of his traits, just a few, some of which have greatly benefited me in my own personal journey, and for this, I am eternally grateful to him. I fondly remember back in 2008, I had just started my flying training, and I was about 1 month into my course when I had my first big accomplishment during training. It was the 12th of June, I remember, and I had just successfully done my first solo. I remember this day because there was only one person on this earth that I wanted to call after that flight to share this news with. It was my dad. My eagerness to call him that evening was palpable, and this was not only because he was the one paying the fees for my course, but solely because I knew that as a pilot himself, only he amongst my family would fully understand and appreciate all the hard work and effort it took to get there, and have that first milestone under my belt. To this day, I remember how he was so happy over the phone, and he never minced his words, as he was very satisfied with my progress. And even after congratulating me several times, he wisely reminded me that this was only the first step towards a long journey of many steps ahead, and that my focus should not waver. That day for me was special because I felt like it was the very first time in my life that I had achieved something that genuinely made him so happy and so proud of me. All this came through because of what I had attained through my own hard work and efforts, and I just could not get enough of that feeling, and I wanted to have it more and more to keep making him more and more happy. 16 years later, and numerous landings after that very first solo, almost to the day, the year, and I got another milestone in my career. I had just passed a total time of 10,000 flying hours. Once again, just the same as it was in 2008, he was the one person I wanted to call and tell him this news. This time, I was lucky I was in Nairobi. I left JKIA, drove straight home to Nyari so that I could tell him, and I wanted to see that joy on his face. I was not going to miss this chance for sure. When I reached home and gave him the brief, I vividly remember how happy he was. His smile was running from ear to ear, and dare I even say that he almost shed a tear. I've never seen my mzee cry, by the way, ever. This time, his joy wasn't simply just about attaining the hours. It was more because I got there while flying the Fokker 70 as a captain. For those who don't know, this is the same type he flew two presidents on and still carries our president to this day. He flew that brand new Harambe 1, as it's fondly called whenever number 1 is on board, from the Netherlands to Kenya in December 1995. My whole family was on hand that night to receive him at Moi Air Base, and together with the other families of his fellow crew members, we braved the cold and waited for them to land at Isli Air Base. All I can remember from that day is just how I kept thinking that this man, my dad, was simply the coolest guy alive. And on this occasion, 30 years after that historic flight for him, to stand next to him and witness the sight of him beaming with joy and pride, especially as he mentioned about how I seem to be following in his footsteps, was more than its weight in gold. To the very last day, Dad's life was instructive. Mzee has taught and trained so many individuals. Considering the wide scope of aviators that he has worked with, it's not lost on me that whenever I meet new faces at work and I introduce myself as Captain Gitahi, I'm often asked if there's any relation to the colonel. I know he was always ready to pass down his professionalism, his extensive knowledge, and expertise to all those who either worked with him or were trained by him. The proof is in his 44 years of impeccable service that he has given to this nation. Kenyan aviation has lost a true legend. And as a fellow aviator, I would like to say thank you on behalf of everyone that you have helped shape their career through your inputs and your trainings. Losing my old man has left me such an emptiness in my heart that I doubt can ever be filled, realizing that I will never get to make and see him being proud and happy of me one more time. God knows, if I could change one thing, I would tell Dad every day how much he meant to me. Death surely changes everything. I already miss the sound of his voice, the wisdom in his advice, the stories of his life, and whenever I'm alone, I can still hear his laughter ring loud in my head. Even when I shut my eyes to get some rest, I can still see the image of his smiling face. Despite all this, I know that you will always be watching over me from up above and beyond the blue skies, and that surely your guiding hand will forever be on my shoulder. I thank God for all the fun times we got to share together, to spend with you. All the wonderful memories that I now get to keep with me forever. Your decency, sincerity, and kind soul will stay with us eternally. As you rest now, sir, this is not goodbye. Because forever, you will be with me in my heart and mind. Always, I would like to thank, also, I would like to thank my father. Let it be known that to me, he was no ordinary man. Thank you for giving me life. Thank you for teaching me all you could. Thank you for shaping my life, because I'm the man I am, because I am the man I am today because of you. Thank you for being there when I needed you to be. You were hands down the best father a daughter or a son could ever have. Thank you for being my dad. I love you so much. Rest in peace.
Thank you all for coming to celebrate the life of this great man, a flying legend and an honorable man that I was privileged to know as my father-in-law. There are innumerable things to say about Dad and how much he impacted the lives of everyone he interacted with. He was and still is a force to reckon with. Dad was so sociable and welcoming. The first day I met him, I was so nervous, wondering how I would greet him, being that he was a retired colonel and I was only a lieutenant. Should I freeze and say, "Hello, sir"? Should I just greet him the normal way? Would that be appropriate? I was still overthinking it when he met us at the door, and in his usual jovial nature, he said, "Hello, I'm JG," and welcomed me with open arms, putting my mind at ease, and I felt right at home. Dad was the epitome of humility and kindness and treated everyone with such decency. He was a generous man. I fondly remember how he would ask, "Umekamata kitu?" and insist that I go get a bite of something from the kitchen. Then later he would ask, "Uko shwari? Uko ngangari?" He was a witty conversationalist, very knowledgeable about a myriad of topics. It was so fun and intriguing to discuss current affairs with him and listen to him share his life experience as an officer and a pilot. His skill, expertise, and dedication to his work really inspired me. I will particularly miss how he engaged me in banter, or what we in the military call jazz. Dad loved reading books and newspapers. I remember a time I was on sick leave and he would bring me newspapers to read daily and ask that I fill the crossword puzzles after. He always insisted on the reading culture, to a point the two of us drove all the way to Machakos just to buy books to stock up the library in Manzoni. He was an organized man, so meticulous in everything he did. Even his flying logbook hardly had any mistakes. I was so fascinated to go through the pictures that he left in the squadron, filled with caption photos highlighting what was happening in each image. He had such a great sense of humor, as evidenced by some of the hilarious captions. He was an officer and a gentleman, a very refined man. He would always walk me to the car to bid me goodbye whenever I visited. And if I stayed too long without visiting, he would call to check up on me. I will really miss those random phone calls and the way he used to call me ma'am, and at times mama, with so much swag. Dad was so supportive and loving, and he didn't shy away from expressing that love. He fully embraced me even before I was officially or legally his daughter-in-law. My heart beams with joy when I recall the day he showed up with a huge bouquet and a card he signed on behalf of the family just to cheer me up because I had COVID. He never failed to assure me of his support and that he would always stand by me. I knew I could depend on him. Our conversations would always end with him reminding me of how much he loves me. It's comforting for me that in our last conversation, he reaffirmed that love to me, and that will forever be engraved in my heart. His legacy will live on for generations to come. I thank God for the memories I have of him and with him. He was the best father-in-law anyone could ever ask for. I love you, Dad. You will always be in my heart. I will indubitably miss you dearly. Fly with the angels, Dad. May you rest in eternal peace in God's loving arms till we meet again.
Thank you. Thank you. Really do appreciate Santi Sana. To all the men in the house, please ask the other gentleman you're seated with, would your son be the first person? Would you be the first person your son would call? Tusirudishe hiyo polepole tu. Wageshi and Alan, karibuni sana.
Hello, everyone. My name is Wangashi, and James Nguyo Gitahi is my father. So I'm going to start. Writing a tribute. Okay, so writing about a father is a daunting task. Where do you even begin? What do you say? What do you leave out? I was blessed to have this man, James JG, as my father. He was a happy, kind, honest, and fun-loving man. He lived a full and rich life, one that many of us aspire to. It doesn't take long after spending time with him to realize that he was a man of unwavering strength and integrity. Over the past week, I have listened to countless stories and read many messages, all reflecting the same thing. He was a man who lived by firm principles, always striving to do what was right, even when it wasn't easy. He never shielded away from responsibility or difficult tasks, but faced them head-on with courage and determination, truly living out the words of 2 Timothy chapter 4, verse 7, I have fought the good fight, I have finished the race, I have kept the faith. I have kept the faith. His life reflected a deep sense of duty, not just to his work, but to his family and to his community. One of the greatest lessons I learned from my father was through watching how he treated my mother. It was in their partnership that I saw the true meaning of love, respect, and teamwork. They raised us together, supported us together, and built their many Jabe projects together. It was always together. Each time we visited Manzoni, he would admire the progress and never hesitated to tell her how well she had done. My dear, dear mother, I hope you know that this man truly and well loved you. And he was immensely proud of you. I pray that in my own marriage, I can emulate the love, support, and unity I witnessed between the two of you. Their life together reflected the essence of Romans chapter 12, verse 13. Share with the Lord's people who are, no, that came in wrongly. Okay, my father believed in doing things the right way, whether at home or at work. He made sure everyone felt welcome and comfortable. From the guards that he often laughed with, to the gardeners, to the chefs, and even the dignitaries, our home was a place of warmth, and his workplace was a space where excellence was not just expected, but it was truly lived. Like many African families, we never lived alone. Many family members and friends have passed through our home. And this is honestly a reflection of his and my mother's kindness and hospitality, a true part of who he was. While my father was a great listener, he was also a man of strong conviction. Once his mind was made up, it wasn't easy to change it, but that was a testament to his steadfastness and dedication to his values. Yet, when he did listen to you, He did so with an open heart and a genuine willingness to understand. Of course, as it's been said before, one of the greatest loves of his life was his work. He wasn't just a pilot by profession, he was a pilot by calling. He embraced every early morning, every instruction, and every challenge with passion and dedication. He found joy in the skies, and in doing so, he lived a life of purpose, precision, and pure excellence. He wasn't just good at what he did, he was exceptional. Flying wasn't just a job, it was a part of who he was, and he carried it with pride. Watching him as a grandfather, it was just an incredible thing. The way that he laughed, played, and spoke with his grandchildren was filled with so much pride and joy. He embraced every moment, whether it was sharing the many stories, joining a little bit in their games, just a little, or simply sitting with them in the quiet companionship, sometimes loud. His love for them was evident in his patience, his gentle words, and in the warmth of his embrace. These moments were not just playful, but deeply meaningful to me, especially, as he passed on lessons of love, kindness, and strength in the ways only a grandfather could. To them, he was more than just Guka. He was a friend, a guide, and a protector. His pride in them shone through in every smile, encouraging words, and a lot of shared laughter. He carried that role with grace and joy, leaving behind memories that will be treasured forever. Even in our darkest moments, he was there, especially when we lost our second son, who was named after him. He was the one who was at the hospital at 4 a.m. for bath time and checkups and many questions to the doctor, and who returned immediately after his flight. When our little one passed away, it was my father who had the strength to carry him to his resting place. It is hard to believe that you are no longer going to be home, that you will no longer be waiting for us and talking to us all day when we visit, that we will no longer see you in my home, sitting in your favorite chair eating nyama. But I am so grateful for the memories that we made, and I hope we will continue telling your grandchildren about their legendary Guka. And at the very, very end, I found myself reflecting on all our conversation and the messages that we shared. They always, the texts, the calls always ended with, God bless you and be blessed. And in recent years, I'm so grateful that you never missed the chance to remind us that you loved us and that you are proud of us. These words are so simple yet profound and now echo in my heart, and I shall miss you so, so deeply. And so in this moment, I offer you my blessing, my Papa. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May he make his face shine upon you, and may he be gracious to you. May he lift up your countenance upon you and give you peace, my dear Papa. It has been the greatest honor of my life being your daughter.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Now I'd like to call upon Mheshimiwa to just come and give your tributes. Mheshimiwa Betty.
Thank you, my Father in charge, my priests, my brothers, my sons. I know time has gone and I know we have mass at 6, but allow me please, I have children, and if I don't give them this chance to just say a word, I think we are going to be unfair. at my other two children. And I know I also have my in-laws, but tomorrow we pray that we'll start early so that we can hear all the stories from all the generals. I'm so humbled that you are here, all the retired officers, all the serving officers, because that was Jay's life. So please allow me, Father, to just ask my other two children. As you've been told by Wangeshi, our home has always been full. And if I don't do that, I know most, especially people in Jeshi, knew that I had 3 daughters. Not at any one time that people thought that Juju was not my very own. So allow me to just give them 2 minutes to say something, and then they can speak tomorrow.
Thanks, Mom. Hi, everyone. My name's Marianne Montet. Thank you all for being here. Your presence and your prayers have given us great comfort. We are here to celebrate the life of a great man, a hard-working and accomplished man, an inspiring and kind soul, a true gentleman. But beyond all these accolades, his greatest role was being the best husband, our dad, and our baby's beloved Guka. I am so honored and blessed to have called you dad, my beloved uncle that stepped in the gap and became a dad to me. Sorry. In every sense of the word, giving me a sense of stability, belonging, and unconditional love. Your guidance, discipline, and unwavering support molded me in ways I will forever be grateful for. I am still struggling to come to terms with the fact that we are eulogizing you. It doesn't feel real. You have been a constant pillar in our lives, showing up for us with such intentionality, and somehow I thought you would always be here. Now we all have the difficult task of accepting this immense loss and releasing you to enjoy eternity in God's embrace. What gives me comfort is knowing you lived a full life, knowing and loving God, a life filled with immense joy, love, and purpose. You experienced deep love from your family, your friends, and the fulfillment of a career you were so passionate about. And we got to experience you fully and wholeheartedly. Sorry. So many cherished memories are etched in my heart. Our family travels when we were young. I still love you before till now because that's what I remember us listening to as we drove to Kitale. Sunday lunches at Roasters, your endless stories about everything and anything, your happy dances, which I saw so many of at Manzoni recently, and the way you adored your grandbabies. You were always someone I admired and respected, and you and Mom gave us the best life. Even in your absence, your influence lives on. Eli, for example, is convinced that if he doesn't become a Navy SEAL, he must be a pilot like you. Junior, now you have to take on that one. Yeah, he's obsessed with planes, watching them on YouTube every day, all because of you. That's the kind of inspiration you are. You will live on in all of us. To my whole family, I pray that we will continue to forge ahead with love, intentionality, and togetherness, supporting one another in both good and challenging times. That is how we will honor Dad's legacy and keep his spirit alive. I love you. I will miss you beyond words. It's hard to believe you're truly gone. Fly high, Dad.
Thank you, thank you. We will not take long.
Allow me to say all protocols observed. Ladies and gentlemen, I greet you all good evening. God is good, and all the time. My name is Samuel Mushoki, also known as Samido. I'm a raised son to Colonel James Gitahi and Senator Betty Montet. Very first, I'm going to read my tribute. Today, I celebrate a man I have so much respect for, a humble and spoken man full of wisdom, a man who took me as his own, not because he had to, but because he chose to. Nothing gave me more joy than getting home and listening to my kids chat on how they spent their day with their grandmom and their granddad. A thing that I never dreamt of since I lost my biological parents at a very tender age. I remember when in my prime, as the Gen Zs put it, one time my life was surrounded with a lot of drama. And I remember how mom used to pray for me and hope that that thing will end one day. So this time I went to Manzoni just to say hi to dad. And we had a chat. And in the middle of the conversation, he brought up about the issue of the many online dramas. His advice on how to end it sounded like a command and a real one from a colonel. I almost responded, Ndiyo Afande. And trust me, his advice marked the end of the whole drama series. Allow me to borrow some words from a popular Kikuyu musician, the late John DeMathew. Kweli muthuri ari muoyo ni ari bata. Athimoraga ciana ikaigua ngunyiriri. I also want to borrow some other words from another Kikuyu musician known as Samido. Ati igai riria inene mundu angitigira ciana ciake na ciana cia ciana ciake ti mbeca no ni ngumo njega na witikio. For sure, God takes the best. Rest well, Dad.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. First, I want to say I thank God that I'm able to stand here today. I'm sure most of you know that when this happened, I was so crushed that I was in hospital for 2 days. And this was because of who Jay was to me. Jay, as most of us called him, me and Jay lived a life many people could not understand. As you might be aware, we lived in a village, and this village is where everything was identical. You had the same house. You were issued with red sofa sets, red carpets, given a cooker, a fridge. So our lives, our husbands were, those who were the same age were earning the same kind of money or the same salary. So you'd see life as just life, the way it was. But luckily enough for me, I got a very different man. From the beginning, from the day I met Jay, Jay was such a responsible person who had decided that we are going to live our life differently. And luckily for me, Jay was prepared to get a wife. But for those who were in the military, you know that was not easy to make them get settled. We used first to get married by a paper called, what is this paper given by the AG? Before it comes to the Part 2 orders, which could have been changed, and it could mean so many other girls. By the time you know that it is you, or you get in and know that you're married, then you know that it is. But there are so many things I can say about Jay. I'll say that tomorrow, but just let me read what the short story that I could write. A tribute. It's not mine. A tribute to my Jay. I must confess that writing this tribute to my husband is hard, but not difficult at all. For me, this is because I can truly give a full account of our life together from the first day we met. To start with, I had so many, you'll excuse me, this thing was done so much in a hurry that it will have a few mistakes here and there, so I'll try to correct where I can. To start with, I had so many names for you, which are a true reflection of who you are to me. Allow me to address you as I did for those beautiful, short 43 years we spent together. J, JG, JA, Gitahi wakwa, my organizer, Kano Pass, Baba Wange, Muriwa Wageshi, Kuka J, and many more. And the easiest one that made you so happy, and I believe is the last I called you, was Hi, Sweetie. I met Jay through my late brother-in-law, Captain Muriuki Restas, while I was in college in Nairobi. Captain Muriuki would call and insist that he wanted me to meet his friends. I think because being a brother-in-law, he knew me well. Then, the year 1982, when the coup happened, and they were confined in Moi base for some time, roughly about 2 months, they were free to leave and go out of the base after the confinement was lifted. Happily, Captain Morioki was so determined to accomplish his mission, so he called and asked that we meet in town, and we did at Eureka Hotel for a cup of coffee. Captain Morioki showed up at Eureka with his buddies, young officers, and coincidentally, I had also gone with some young girls from college. Mheshimiwa Wairimo was there, late Judy, and others. Captain, as I came to learn later, those young Air Force officers were shaken by the experience of the coup, and most of them had resolved that they wanted to get married and settle. So they were looking for wives. The said officers, and who some are here, included Colonel, then Lieutenant PK Joroge, who later became our best man, the late then Lieutenant Muli, Lieutenant Njunge, Brigadier, and there was one I was trying to remember. Thereafter, the girls were invited, of course, to the officers' mess, and that was the beginning of our beautiful lives together. As officers' girlfriends, we had to be initiated to the tough life, which was also interesting. You were put to test not only by your own admirer, but by all his friends, who at times insisted that they had the last say as to whether you would qualify to be a good wife. I guess I passed the test, but I was also presented with, I guess I passed the test, but interesting, I was presented with a notebook with instructions on the kind of a wife he wished and wanted me to be. I still keep it to date. As I stand here today, I thank God, and I'm proud to say that I've done and I did my best. My J was a gentleman. He lived his life as the most humble person I have ever known. His wish was to see me and his family living happily, at which he made sure that we never lacked and gave us the best and all that he had, as Junior said. Jay had confidence and believed in me. He supported all the ideas I presented to him. He also allowed me to do all that I wished for the sake of our family and our future. He was my #1 supporter. We lived our lives as one. In fact, most of the time, my friends would say, "Munajua Betty ako na damu ya Kikamba." You know what I mean. What made Jay happy was to be given a listening ear. He would tell stories and even repeat them so much that such stories would include so much and so many times. Those stories would include flying lessons with his students and different flights he had undertaken. To let you know, I knew all what the students were doing. I knew the good students. I knew those who were not doing well. And I had to listen and to be told. In fact, until very recently, Wangeshi would say that I'm his first officer. Actually, so the children nicknamed me first officer. This attribute of storytelling can be confirmed by all those who knew Jay. At home, Jay was the darling of everyone, young and old. He made sure that everyone was comfortable, including visitors. Jay was an organizer who would be walking up and down, serving you, giving you food, and making sure you're comfortable. His books were well arranged, and all his documents were neatly filed and labeled. The other day, Wangeshi reminded me that when I asked, I don't know where to start,